Hello everyone, in this video we are going to see about the decision making statement in Python. So we know that decision making statements are if, else and else if statements. Let us see how the conditions are checked and the decision making statements are done. Let us see first of all what are all statements available. Decision making statements can direct a program to execute on the based of instructions if a certain condition is true or another if it is false. That means if it is true, some conditions, when the conditions are satisfied, if it is true, one set of block is executed, otherwise another block is executed. That is the purpose of the decision making. It decides whether to execute or not. That is the decision making statement. Different decision making structures can be used, such as if statements, else if statements and nested if else statements. Let us see one by one with the example. And for decision making, this Python programming language uses the statements if, and in order to apply these if conditions, there are some logical conditions are also used in the if statements, and they are equals, that is A equal to B, not equals A not equal to B, less than A less than B, greater than less than or equal to A less than or equal to B, greater than A greater than B, greater than or equal to A greater than or equal to. So based on these conditions, relational conditions or the logical conditions, the if conditions are applied and the if statement checks these conditions, and accordingly the result is true or false, the statements are executed. Let us see with the example one by one. The following are the conditional statements used by Python: if, else if, nested if and if else if statements. This elif is also called as chained if else statements. Now first we see the simple if statement. If the simple code of block is to be performed, if the condition holds true, then the if statement is used. Here the condition mentioned holds true, then the code of the block runs, otherwise not. So you can see the diagram here, the flowchart. Condition is checked. If it is true, one block of code is executed. If it is false, it comes out of the if. So the example here is A is equal to 33, B is equal to 200. If B greater than A, print B is greater than A. So this is the condition to check if B is greater than A. In this case, B is 200 and A is 33, which means B is greater than A. So the answer is true. That means it prints B is greater than A. This is the output. Okay. Now the next case is nested if statement. As the name implies, one if statement lies in the other if statement. So if the first if statement is checked and it is followed by the next if statement. So this is called as nested if statement. We can have multiple conditions based upon the necessity. Now the example given here is x is equal to 11. If x greater than 10, print above 10. Then nested if. Okay, that means this if comes in the inner block of this first if. So if x greater than 20, now print the message and also above 20. Else, there is the other case, print but not above 20. So this is the condition given. Okay, so the program says that you are giving a number x value, now it is 11 and we are checking against 10. So if it is greater than 10 means it is the first statement is true. So print it is above 10. After that, when it becomes true, the nested if is also executed. Now if x is greater than 20, in the case now given the x is 11, so this is false. So what will happen? So this second if is not executed because the condition is false. 11 is less than 20. So this condition becomes false. So it goes to the else statement and print but not above 20. So the answer output of this program will be like this. It is above 10 but not above 20. That means first case is true, first if is true, the next if is not true. So accordingly the values are executed. Now the block diagram says about if the condition is checked, if it is true, goes to other condition. If it is that is true, it go to the other condition and so on. Else it will come to the last of the statement. After the if statement, there will be some statements. So when the condition becomes false, when every condition becomes false, it will come out of the loop. It's not a loop, it is come out of the if statement. Okay. So this if the conditions are checked one by one, that is step by step, that is the nested if statements. Now the next case is about the if else statement. If something is true, let some code of line executed. If it is false, the other codes are executed. Now example here is a is equal to 200, b is equal to 33. Now the checking condition is if b greater than a. That means now here b is 33 and greater than a is condition is false because a is only 200, a is actually 200, b is only 33, so b is smaller than a, but the condition checking is b is greater than a, that is false. So print b is greater than a, else print b is not greater than a. So in our case, the example taken, a is 200, b is 33, that means b is small and a is bigger. So now the else statement now executes because the if statement is false. If b greater than a is false, so it goes to the else case to say that b is not greater than a. So this is how the output comes. Okay. So the conditions is checked. If it is true, a block of code is checked, else another block of code is checked. So you can see the false line comes and it is connected to the this black dot before the black dot. That means this is within the loop. This is not beyond the loop. This is within the if condition. Okay. So now for this question, the input given, the output will be b is not greater than a because now the value of a is only it's 200 but b is 33. So the condition is false. That is else is executed which says that b is not greater than a. Now the next case is about the chained conditions or the else if ladder. So what does it means? There are continuous if and then else if else it happens, then what else happen? Like that there are continuous statements, if statements after the else statement. So the if else if statement is a shortcut of if else chain. While using if else statement, at the end of the else block is added which is performed if none of the above if else if statement is true. That means the if is checked one by one. If nothing is true, that means it will go to the last else statement, that is the if else ladder. Let us see the example, easy to understand. Now the number is given is 0. If number greater than 0, print positive number because we know that the value greater than 0 is positive. So if number greater than 0, print positive number. Else if number equal to 0, then print 0. That means first condition is true, do something. Else check for second condition. Now it is true, then print something. Here the second condition, if it is true, it has to print as 0. If that is false, it will go to the else statement, which is the print is a negative number. So the first case, numbers greater than 0 is false, means it will come to the next case. Then check if the number is 0. If it is true, the answer will be 0. In this case, number is equal to 0. Okay. So what will happen? The first condition is false. So it is go to the next condition. Else if number is equal to 0. Yes, now it is true. Now it is printing the output as 0. Else print negative number. So if the first case is failure, second case is failure, now it is the third case which is the else block. It will print as a negative number. Suppose if you give number is equal to -5 or -10, this else will be executed. Now for all the cases, it will give a print message, the common message, print this statement is always executed. What does it mean is, this last print statement is beyond the scope of the if else if statement. It is in line with the first line of the code, number equal to 0. That means this print statement does not come under any of the condition checking. Whatever the condition is true or false, after many checking, finally the answer, this will be printed to say that this statement is always executed. That means whether the condition is true or false, if is checked, else is checked, else if is checked, whatever the condition is true or false, the final statement is printed, which is the print statement saying this statement is always executed. So that's all the simple idea about the decision making statement in Python. So this is explained by the block diagram. If condition is true, it will execute some block of code. If it is false, it will compound to the next block of code. If that is true, it will execute the code and go to the place before the exit of the loop, and then that condition is also, the second condition is also false, it go to the third condition. If that third condition is true, it will again execute something and go to the point before the end of the loop. Now after all this checking is over, there will be another statement after the end of the if scope. That is, example here is the print, this statement is always executed. So this is how the else if ladder works out. So that's all the simple idea about the decision making statements in Python. Hope it is easy and simple to follow, and thanks for watching.